Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This video is a game changer. I am going to explain why the scripted hoax of the death of Osama bin Laden happened on May 2nd, 2011, exactly 119 weeks after President Obama took office. If you're new to my channel, I am proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that our futures are scripted. We are living out a predetermined history that was planned long in advance for us. We're living out an agenda. The people who have done this to us are the Freemasons, the Zionists, the Jesuits, the people who are in high places that belong to these secret orders that abide by esoteric codes, codes involving numerology, and the practice of coding numbers into words, gematria. If you learn these esoteric practices, you can see through history in record time. I am spreading this knowledge so that we as a people can overcome the tyrants who rule over us. This has been my mission since September 11th, 2001, when I was just an 18-year-old in my second week of college. From that day on, I've lived my life with a different purpose. I saw that I was a man who was awake in a nation of people who were asleep. And because I was awake, it was in part my responsibility to fight back and awake others. I understood from that day on that because we live in this nation where we're ruled over with tyranny, lies, deceit, terrorism, what have you, it's a path we can't continue on. It must be stopped. It must be broken by whatever means necessary. So this is me doing what I can now to spread the word. My goal is to create many more people in my image. That is, people who are awake, people who are fighting back, people who are not participating in the system. If you go to work, if you go to school, if you pay taxes, if you consume, you're part of the problem. That's all the powers that be want from you, to stay on their conveyor belt, to be the good little commodity that you are, that creates wealth, that can be experimented with. That's what September 11th was, a grand experiment to see what the sheeple could fall for. With this game changer, people aren't going to be falling for it much longer. So with that said, let's get into it. It is reported that Osama bin Laden was killed May 2nd, 2011, nearly a decade after September 11th, 2001. Notice that May 2nd is the 122nd day of the year. This is a special number to the Freemasons. Freemason in the Francis Bacon form of gematria sums to 122. This is a number that gets coded on many big events in history. Notice the news broke on the BBC and other networks on May 2nd, the 122nd day of the year, at 12:02 Pacific Standard Time. No coincidence. 12:02 on the 122nd day. The day bin Laden died was a date with 38 numerology, and the word death has gematria of 38. To get the numerology of the day, you add 5 plus 2 plus 20 plus 11. Numerology of 38, again the word death has gematria of 38. In almost every celebrity death that you've ever heard of, the number 38 is coded. From Tupac to Notorious B.I.G. to John Lennon to so many more. In recent weeks, there have been a number of celebrity deaths. I have covered all of them on this video channel. Almost every single one has had the number 38 coded right into the middle of it. So very common for death stories on dates with 38 numerology. Bin Laden dead on a date with 38 numerology corresponding with the Freemasons. From September 11th, 2001 until the date he died was a span of 503 weeks. That stands out to me because 503 in numerology is a lot like 53, and 53 is a number that corresponds with religion. Of course, September 11th, Osama bin Laden, all part of purposeful propaganda to divide and conquer people over religion, especially Christianity versus Islam. And this is an ongoing agenda that's now being fueled with ISIS and Boko Haram and all these other made-up CIA Western government assets. We'll talk more about 53 in just a moment. From the date Obama took office till the date Osama died is a span of 119 weeks. Think about the date September 11th, which Osama's blamed for. The 11th day, the 9th month. In most parts of the world, it is written 11/9. This number is important to the Masons and the Zionists. The symbol, Star of David, has gematria of 119. All-Seeing Eye has gematria of 119. These symbols have been on our currency for longer than the Zionist nation of Israel has existed that uses the Star of David as their symbol. These numbers are of great significance. It is not a coincidence that Osama is reported dead 119 weeks after Obama took office. And with regards to Osama and Obama, neither of these are even real people. These are fictional characters played out by men who are also CIA assets. There is no such thing as Barack Hussein Obama. There is no such thing as Osama bin Laden. These are characters, actor agents playing their part in the grand deception. We are ruled over by the most dishonest. I was laughing at people in 2008. Here you have this con man who has a voting record as bad as George W. Bush that somehow is getting all the people who hate Bush to like him just because he's black. A complete fraud. A man with an awful voting record, on the side of all things wrong, big banks, militarism, insurance, everything. Obama, horrible voting record, but the sheeple, they don't look at voting records, they just listen to the sound of voice, the color of skin, the clothes. It's a joke, this nation we live in. Barack Hussein Obama, let's not forget that George W. Bush and the U.S. government confused the American people, putting out the names Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden for blame on 9/11. I saw a recent poll on TV that still thinks a quarter of the nation still thinks that Saddam Hussein's responsible for September 11th. And why wouldn't they? I mean, we went to war with fucking Iraq, even though not a single hijacker in the bullshit mainstream story was from Iraq. They'll do anything to the sheeple of this nation. They'll fall for anything. Then we get a president, Barack Hussein Obama. The names of Osama and Hussein. Man, I'm so sick of the sheeple truth seeker because I've been speaking truth to power since September 11th, 2001. Living in a nation of fucking retards. People who don't learn. People who mock truth. Anyhow, Osama bin Laden has name gematria of 110. The World Trade Center's buildings 1 and 2 were 110 stories tall. Building 7, the third building to fall that day, was 47 floors tall. Notice that Osama bin Laden, the big way, is 110. The small way, 47. Building 7, 47 floors tall. Each floor 47,000 square feet. Named after Haym Salomon, who financed the American Revolutionary War, who was born on April 7th. 4-7 or 7/4. The World Trade Center sat on the 74th meridian. A very important number to the Freemasons as well. Big Masonic ritual. In history, the Rockefeller family proposed the World Trade Center project. Rockefeller equals 110. Another scary boogeyman from history, Adolf Hitler, equals 110. Born on April 20th, the 110th day of the year. No coincidence. All Freemason signatures. Supposedly, Al Qaeda, which is another made-up fictional entity, might as well just be the CIA, Western mercenaries, they confirmed on May 6th, 4 days later, that Osama really did die. This is all just part of the bullshit. Osama bin Laden equals 47 the small way, with the S exception, 56, a lot like May 6th. President, same thing, 47, 56. We'll talk about how this ties in with George W. Bush at the end, too. So anyhow, when the World Trade Centers fell to the ground, Osama bin Laden was 44 years old at the time, which is the kill number. In history, the World Trade Centers opened on 4/4, 73. The word sacrifice has gematria of 73. Those buildings were built to fall down on September 11th, 2001. Those buildings were built with the purpose of the propaganda event that took place that date. They were built 33 years before they fell. Construction began in 68, which we'll talk more about. Bin Laden was killed in Abbottabad, Pakistan. Gematria 51, just like the word conspiracy, and oh, it was. From Bin Laden's birthday to the day he died, March 10th, 2011 to May 2nd, 2011 was a span of 53 days or 1 month and 22 days. Remember, he died on the 122nd day of the year. Religion equals 53. He also died 7 weeks and 4 days after his birthday. Masonic equals 74. The World Trade Centers were on the 74th parallel. Jewish also equals 74. It was Ehud Barak, the Prime Minister of Israel, who came over to the United States the day after September 11th and said that we needed to declare a war on terrorism. His words, leader of Israel, Prime Minister, and leader of their military. This nation has always been controlled by Jews. That's not, anti-Semitic to say. That is the truth. Read Jewish history. They acknowledge no Jew bankers, no America. They financed the American Revolutionary War. Christopher Columbus was a Jew. The hidden Jew history. This nation is a new world order creation. The new world order, in large part, is a Jew world order. And anyone who denies that doesn't know what they're talking about. Yeah, there's other factions. But the Jews, the architects. This is a banker's world. The Jews largely control the banks. There's the World Trade Centers on the 74th meridian. The day after he was killed, Daily News had this story out, Rotten Hell. I've shown before how the Daily News is always coding their headlines as FUs to the American people. Rotten Hell has gematria of 113. So does Scottish, as in Scottish Rite Freemasonry, the branch of Masonry that's always dominated this nation in the world. Green screen equals 113, dishonest equals 113, mainstream equals 113. This is an important number to the Zionist Jews. Baba Kama 113a says a Jew may use lies to circumvent a Gentile, which is a non-Jew. And they code this number 113 into so much of their wrongdoing. Rotten hell the small way equals 50, just like America. Think about how this nation has 50 states. It's always been by the numbers since the beginning. Old Freemason code. Going back centuries. Very apparent on September 11th.